Aloha, it's Creativenametostandout again with another battle report. So I had a chance recently to go up to the local game store. I know recently I've been showing you some older games. This one was just last week. Anyways, I got a chance to go up there after work. Saw a regular opponent, and we threw down 2,500 points. My Dark Elves versus his Ogres. Like playing this guy always plays different lists. I always play different lists. It gets monotonous if you don't. But here's my center line. There's my witches, 36, so 6 more than normal. BSB inside, Cauldron of Blood next to that unit. And then it looks like 48 spearmen with the sorceress in there. And then on the other side you have my 36 executioners. So now on the right flank is some Doomfire Warlocks. And then on the far left flank are my Dark Riders. And then in scouting I put 2 units of Shades, as you can see here. Now my opponent, he brought a Noblar Scrap Launcher, and then he put his 14 Iron Guts in one unit, and I think he put 3 of his 4 characters that he brought. I can't remember if he brought 3 or 4, but yeah, all but 1 are in this unit. So this is going to be a unit I'm going to try to avoid. Over there in that right side that you can barely see, that's a large unit of Noblars. There's 36 strong. And then here on the other side are 7 lead belchers with his level 2 beasts, and then finally 5 of the Mournfang cavalry. So yeah, usually he brings 3 to 4, but lately my executioners have been killing that before they do too much damage. Well, they do a lot of damage, but even more than they could do, and so he brought 1 more just to have somebody alive and strike back at me. So we go into my Vanguard move, and I guess this is where I would talk about what do I plan to do. So I also Vanguard the other on the other side of my Doomfire Warlocks, and I guess I'm just going to try to, silent that catapult as fast as I can so that he doesn't have any ranged. And then, well, besides the lead belchers, which I'm afraid of, but I'm going to try to silence that catapult, get around his back lines, be a nuisance. This huge unit, deal with these units all the time here because I play Ogres all the time, and I'm just going to lead it to the left, keep on leading it to the left, and then try to just take out the rest of his army. My executioners aren't lined up against the Mournfang, so I'm going to have my witches deal with the Mournfang. Hopefully they can do it. And then my executioners are going to act as a failsafe against that big unit in case they get through my skirmishers. So that's what we're going to do. Let's see how it works out. Alright, so in his movement phase, he moves up with his Mournfang cavalry. You can barely see it, but his large unit of Iron Guts move up on top of the hill. And of course he moves his lead belchers forward, and now he's measuring to see what shots he has. I stop his magic, and in shooting phase he kills 6 of my guys with the lead belchers. Then with the scrap launcher, he places it over my cauldron. Previously in another game, he killing blowed my death hag with the scrap launcher. So he's trying to replicate those results, but that's not going to happen. Either way, he does scatter. He lands on top and he kills most of my unpainted witches, so they die. And then over here, his BSB has the brace of ogre pistols, and it looks like he shoots 1 of my shades dead. That's fine. We go to my turn. Alright, so here's the start of Dark Elf turn 1. I declare a charge of my Dark Riders at the scrap launcher. This is the first part of my plan, so it's nice to get this first charge off. I also charge with my shades, but they fall short. So I was hoping to add to combat res, but hopefully the Dark Riders can handle it. The rest of my army is not ready to handle those Mournfang. It was going to be a long charge for me, so I attempted to make it a longer charge for him by just scooting back as much as I could. So that means my spears and the cauldron scooted back. It's about 9 inches away. I think he needs a 9 or a 10, so hopefully he fails. And then over here on the left, the executioners are going to play the role of my failsafe for the left side. I'm really going to depend on my shades and my Dark Riders to really pull that big unit to the left and keep it out of the game. But you never know. Maybe one of my shades or the Dark Riders will, fall back really short, get ran down. Maybe I'll panic one of my units, and then they'll be left open to do what they need to do. So I'm going to need my executioners to run in there, do as much damage as they can before they die, because they will die. Those iron guts are too strong. Then maybe the witches can clean up. Over here, the shades get in the way to become a nuisance to the big unit. They shoot. I think they do a couple wounds. Um, my magic's really not doing much in this game. But here are the Doomfire Warlocks. They move around the back. I'm going to attempt to try to do Doombolt. And then here in combat, I charge. I do 3 wounds. I have the charge, and he still rolls low. I think he rolls like a 4, and he sticks. And that's not what I was hoping would happen, but it is. So that's going to cause me a problem. And okay, in his turn, he declares a charge with his big unit. However, a great thing happened this turn, and the Mournfang failed their charge. This is going to open up a lot of opportunities. All 3 of those units have a pretty easy charge to the Mournfang, and that's what I was hoping on, so that's a great development. Everything else moves forward like you see here. In the magic phase, he casts the Spear of Honor here. Is that what it is? I don't remember. It's the spear one from Beasts. And he uses the Strength 10 version. He gets it through. I might even let him. I think I did let him because I was thinking I had a 3+ invulnerable save, but then I remembered that the girl on top would only have a 4. She fails her ward save, but he luckily only does 1 wound. Got lucky. Shooting does this to that spear unit. And then we go into combat. My Dark Riders need 6s, and this is what I roll. It was fantastic. It was just so good. I'd take a picture of it. And of course, even though there's no modifiers, he does fail 2 of them, and I kill the scrap launcher. Alright, so after that great amount of luck there, I move my Dark Riders to here to really cause him some headaches. Before this, I was really worried about my Dark Riders. They were stuck with the scrap launcher. They may have even lost the scrap launcher over time, I don't know. But I did get lucky, and if I hadn't, then the Ogres would have been pretty much free to go where they would like to go, to advance forward. And now I can prevent that from happening. I haven't lost control of the left flank, and so now I placed him here. I did make a mistake though. I should have went 2x2 because now, as it is, I don't have enough room to really fall back and stay on the board. So that was a bad play. But it does open up some opportunities for me here. If he's going to have to charge my Dark Riders to get him out of the way, he'll swing really hard and really wide, and his flank will come really close to my Executioners because of how long he is. And if he fail charges and doesn't redirect or is unable to redirect, then he's going to expose his flank to a pretty easy charge to my Executioners. Otherwise, he could redirect to me, which he'll probably try. And if he fails that, which he probably will because it's a very long charge, he'd probably need boxcars. He would come up, and I would probably have a better chance of charging him. So it just gives me a lot of initiative, and those shades back there didn't rally. So that's good again that my Dark Riders did do what they did because my shades did not rally, and that would have left just the 1 unit of shades that were further to the corner and unable to help. Over here, he does something I did not expect, even though it's very obvious and it was a good play. I charged my witches first, and he immediately fled, which led to my spearmen moving up and my cauldron moving up. I don't know. I mean, there's nothing I could have done about it, but I didn't. I really thought that I had captured the right side at this point, and when he did that, I was like at a loss of words. I didn't know what to do. But yeah, so I'm a little out of position here. Things are a little bit, awkwardly placed, but the Mournfang are fleeing, and hopefully they don't rally. And so let's go over to the next turn, Ogres, turn 3. Alright, so when we go into Ogre turn 3, we find out that when I say something has to happen a certain way, that is not the case at all. I really thought he was going to be forced to charge my Dark Riders, but he found a third option, which was just to move to the right. Now that does play into my game plan of delaying the left side as long as I can, but it does keep him from exposing his flank to my Executioners. Everything else here moves up. He is using his Novelars as a deterrent to my Warlocks, so that's what they're doing. And over here, unfortunately, Mournfang rally. That stinks. But this is the worst. So I haven't been mentioning magic much lately at all because he's been shutting me down consistently, and nothing he's done has really affected the game until this point. He casts the Maw, which is not, in my opinion, that great of a spell, but it does kill 9 of my Executioners. I do have to take a panic check. I failed the first one. I then fail the second one from the BSB, and then I roll pretty high. I think it was a 10 to run off the board. So that completely crushes my left side. My failsafe is gone, and now my skirmishers and dark riders are going to have to work overtime to pull off this move the enemy unit to the left and keep them from my troops. So here's a shot of the board from the left and from the right before we go into Dark Elf turn 3. Alright, so with my left flank collapsing and my right in danger from the Mornfang, I really need to make something happen here in the center. So I charge my witches into the lead belchers, looking to wipe them out, and with the Mornfang, I'm not sure what I want to do with them, so I move the Doomfire Warlocks up to flee. I'm hoping they just fail a redirect test, but if they do, I figure I want them to hit toughness 6 rather than my Spear Elves. Then over here, I bring my Dark Riders to just delay, and then I've killed so far 3 Ogres through shooting up to this point. Here I absolutely butcher the lead belchers, so that is fantastic. After his character swings, he loses by a bunch, takes his leadership, breaks, and as a result he also panics the Novelars. So there we go, the center's gone. Let's save the flanks. Alright, so the Ogres start off with a charge against my Doomfire Warlocks. I do flee. He successfully redirects into my Chariot. I'm not too worried about it. I'm toughness 6. I have a 4+ invulnerable save. He's not going to be able to stomp me. So I'm hoping to maybe not even lose, but if I do lose, I don't think I'll lose by much. Then in the middle of the board, both units rally. I wasn't expecting the Novelars. And then here, the Dark Riders get run down by this big unit, but thankfully, this unit's on the very far side of the board. Everything else is on the complete other side, so they probably won't have much of an impact. And then here, his impact hits do nothing. I kill 1 before he strikes, and then then he attacks me and does 4 wounds to me. So 4 wounds to 4 wounds. I end up doing another wound, and that means I lose by 2, and I stick luckily. And with that, I charged my Spear Elves into the Mornfang Cavalry. There, my assassin has been revealed already. And my Doomfire Warlocks are going to go ahead and try to rush across the battlefield to try to help out with the delaying of that huge unit, just to keep him from ever reaching my troops. In the magic phase, I haven't done anything up to this point. He's been stopping me, or I've been failing to cast things, and I finally get off Soul Blight with the Doomfire Warlocks, which is great. But then I miscast, get my sources sucked down into the warp, kill a bunch of spearmen, all for a -1 toughness. So that is not worth it. That was like 295 points gone. And so, but that's what it is. And you know, actually, it ended up being enough. I think I ended up killing all but one of the Mornfang. The Mornfang breaks, and we run them down. So we win, but it's probably not worth the sacrifice there. Elsewhere, my witches destroy some Novelars after they failed to get that sorcerer, or that whatever it is, butcher. And that is the end of the game. Yeah, and that's the end of the game. I think the difference was 7 points. This was definitely a draw. I believe my opponent may have been up to 7, but I mean, who really cares? It's 7 points. My Dark Elves are 9 points each, so it was the matter of one thing dying. But things that I've learned differently, I'm going to also intersperse some pictures of other things that I've been working on, or I'm just exceptionally proud of, that I've probably already shown you 1,000 times. But things I would have done differently, if we go back to when the Dark Riders are in single file line there on the left side of the board edge, probably shouldn't have done that. Didn't leave me much room to flee and stay on the board. Probably should have went 2 by 2. So I need to be aware of those little micro things that can pop up. Another thing that I guess is kind of like a micromanaging of the battle is allocation of attacks. A lot of times I just throw in all my attacks into the unit unless I'm just forced to recognize that I can only attack like maybe one character on a corner or something. And so, you know, maybe I should, you know, throw a couple attacks towards a champion or a character, and that could help me out a lot. I know it didn't matter so much in this game, but it has been happening in future games since this one. I think I've played 2 since this one, and I know I've been thinking about it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, why didn't I allocate some attacks towards that character? And so those are things that I could really do to, you know, play better. And so this it was the same here. Like when I charged his lead belchers, I could have allocated attacks to his butcher, but I didn't. And so that was just some points that I possibly could have got that I didn't. So uh, we got to learn from those things. But otherwise, things went how I wanted it to. I kept that big unit away from the game pretty much with my skirmishers and fast cav. So I feel pretty good about the game. It's just too bad about those executioners, but you can't control that stuff. Or the sorcerers blowing up. Think that happens to everyone in every game probably. Well, not in every game, but everyone. So you just deal with it, cope with it, and have fun. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe, comment, or like, and thanks very much for listening.